Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel. Tap the notification bell. I would appreciate it. Majorly. Okay. So, I saw one additional report, and I'm here to tell you something. Believe me, I'm definitely getting closer, and I'm figuring this out. Okay? And, but one thing in addition to that, it's just a little bit of housekeeping is, I see a report, and somebody else posted this. I think it's Sherry somebody. About Charles Vallow had a large life insurance policy, and I don't doubt that. This is the same story about the two missing kids, J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan. I believe they're alive, and hopefully they're returned safely. Even though that remains in question, but I do believe that they're presently alive. And they're with family. They're with Charles Vallow, and they're with Alex Cox and Tammy Daybell, because all those three people, in my opinion, they're all alive. And I explained in my last video how they managed to do that, or at least some rough sketch of how they managed to do it. So, but this is more. It's way bigger than just life insurance. But they needed life insurance. They needed cash. At various stages in this plan to basically bring it to completion. But it's about like getting life insurance money and drugs. And I'm assuming the drug end of it is way more than just the life insurance. The payday there is probably huge. In the tens of millions. So, but it says in this report, and this hadn't been reported before, that Charles had a large, we don't know the exact amount, and this is from two sources that somebody spoke to, CBS 5, and they're the first persons to report it. They go over the whole story again, but that's new, okay? And hold on. A man who is connected to the case of the two missing children who was shot and killed in July had a substantial life insurance policy, according to two people with firsthand knowledge of his personal finances. And believe me, this is not there's many people involved, and there's probably many people outside of those people, but there's a large group, to get this done, definitely, and everybody's lying. I mean, I don't know. There might be a couple people telling the truth in there somewhere, but I'm not seeing them. So, but like I said, those three, in my opinion, faked their deaths, and I don't want to go through that again. You can go watch the other video. It's in the playlist. It's the most recent one before this video, which will get added to the playlist too. So, and in that video, I was basically saying, shoot, I didn't bring it up. Oh, cool. Wonderful. This, about the video, Nate Eaton's story on the storage facility that Lori Vallow, Lori Daybell rented starting in October 1st was the day she signed the contract and started it. And she and other persons, she and Alex by himself, Alex and another guy, visited on a number of occasions, okay? But I think one of the most and there's a variety of things going in and out, and I focused on this. I focused on, this tote, as Nate called it, a tote with something hanging over the edge or whatever, hanging out, and Nate's been doing an awesome job, by the way, awesome. So, and the tire, definitely key. The tire is key, dude. So, and I was saying that this is, and I don't have my video of the, whatever it is, the Nissan Rogue. I had a video of how to basically adjust the back seats. And I was saying that this is, a portion of that. It's almost like, you have two seats and then a one seat, and they both go up. A two-seater that has the middle seat and the other seat, the door side seat, and that was basically what I was saying this was. And it is, okay? I think. And it's not like, you can't manually, not every person can go to their car and you can't pull that out of the car without, pulling out a drill with the proper bit and whatever, and doing some, some disassembly to take it out of the car. And as well as the tire goes, I think the tire goes into the car. It does. It goes into the car here. And then in another part of the video, the tire comes back in, a tire, So, and I still think that that's what that is. I just don't think that that's for a Nissan Rogue, okay? I think it's for a different type of SUV, or something close enough, because it really wouldn't matter anyways. It would have to be, fairly close, I think, or it's the same one, probably the same one, and they just go out and buy that vehicle. It's basically either a Chevy Tahoe seat or a Chevy Suburban, okay? And there's a reason for that. Because, what this involves is, not to beat around the bush, but, and I didn't do a single video about this, not a single one. But while the whole story was getting reported, I looked at it, and I remember thinking, like, how do these people live, down there? Like, what do they do for money? And supposedly they were jalapeno farmers or something like that. But there's like, I don't know, there's like 150 of them. And how the hell are they making enough money to survive? I understand it's not that expensive to live in Mexico, but nevertheless, it just seemed like, and they're driving Chevy Tahoes and Chevy Suburbans and many other, whatever. I didn't look into it. I don't need to. Okay? Because what this was in addition to the life insurance scams that they did at various stages, and I don't know, how many, who all the players are. I'm sure some of the people that are supposed to be dead, they're part of it. Charles Vallow, Alex Cox, Tammy Daybell, and obviously Lori and Chad and others, dude. It was, in addition to the life insurance, they were I believe it's a theory, but I believe it strongly, that they were the ones who hijacked and slaughtered the women and children of the LeBaron family in Mexico on November 4th, okay? And in my opinion, basically they knew, okay, and this is another Latter-day Saints group of, a little bit more extreme, than the normal, and that's why they're in Mexico, and they have multiple wives, and the fundamentalists, and a bunch of other stuff that I don't know, but I don't care. I don't need to know, okay? But they knew. They knew. They had the inside track on how these people do stuff, And on that day, I'm supposing that the 3 large SUVs that traveled with just the women and children, which would be probably maybe how they did it, because that just is a good cover, for traveling with that kind of merchandise, drugs stashed in a seat somewhere, large quantities of it, and probably in a tire. On that day, maybe going to a wedding, whatever, but that's also, when they're doing some kind of large transaction, dude. And these people were aware of it. This whole crew, this whole Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, Alex Cox, Charles Vallow, Tammy Daybell. I mean, I'm sorry, man. I know these people, they look so innocent, okay? But, and these Mormons and all these Latter-day Saints stuff, they look just so, but dude, they're into some bad stuff, man. Major. And, I started to think about it and, think maybe that was possible. And I just did a little bit of reading, and believe me, I don't know all the particulars, and I'm sure, once again, you'll have plenty of people on YouTube to come out with all the reasons why I'm wrong, and there's 1,000 different, persons that are very smart, very bright, okay, will come up with all these alternative reasons why it doesn't work and why I'm wrong, but believe me, they're wrong. And I believe this theory very deeply, all right, and so I don't need to read the entire thing, but there's one element of it, dude. See, they knew it would be in the seat, okay? And they knew They knew it would be in the tire. And one of the Chevy Tahoes reportedly had pulled over because it supposedly had a flat tire. But, and this is they probably put the drugs in the tires on the car, like right on the car while it's driving. So you could never, you would never find it, or it'd be difficult to find it. So that'd be the perfect place to transport it and whatever. So, well, it says the gunman reportedly killed Christina Langford Johnson after she jumped out of the vehicle. Only the survivors are children, to the best of my knowledge. Some are, many of them are ultra young, and many that were killed are super young. Infants and burnt alive and just slaughtered. It doesn't matter. That doesn't change the theory. My theory is, I believe my theory, dude. And but the only children survived, to the best of my knowledge, like 11, 12 years old. I don't know how much they saw. They heard Spanish speaking. I'm sure there's some Spanish speaking persons that were part of the crew, part of the ultimate exercise to do this hijack, And one of the vehicles was, ambushed at 10 in the morning. The other two were at 11 in the morning. I don't know exactly. I know, they were traveling from this area to this area. I believe there was supposed to be a wedding there. I believe they live in this community, and it was in this area, in this Bavispe, which is like the county, and there's a town there, or no, I don't know, Sonora, Bavispe. They were near here when the hijacking took place, But the gunman reportedly killed Christina Langford Johnson after she jumped out of her vehicle and waved her hands to display she wasn't a threat. Johnson was discovered 15 yards from her vehicle with her 7-month-old baby uninjured. For all we know, they were they were supposed to be doing business with them, and they just totally ripped them off, took the cash and the money or the drugs. Who knows? I don't, am I supposed to figure out everything? So the gunman reportedly killed Christina Langford after she jumped out of her vehicle and waved her hands to display she wasn't a threat. That's probably what one of the children said, because she probably was meeting these people for a drug transaction. Who knows? Johnson was discovered 15 yards from her vehicle with her 7-month-old baby uninjured in the vehicle. Phone messages between the family members showed the progression of discovering the incident. One message stated one of the cars was on fire with bullets all throughout it, and that there were people hiding in the bushes. The burnout vehicle was discovered to hold the bodies of Miller, a 10-year-old daughter, a 12-year-old son, and infant twins, 11 miles from where the other two women were killed. The vehicle reportedly had broken down due to a flat tire and was caused to explode by the amount of bullets fired into the vehicle. That flat tire, there must have been a tire taken off of it, something like that. Something is either, I'm telling you that flat tire is that tire right there, dude. In my opinion, that's what's going on. And I think many of you think I'm right. And many of you know I'm right. So, I went ahead and just did this video because I'm so pretty sure, very sure of this without, preparing too much. And but I don't need to go and read through. The two children, a 13-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl, walked away from the scene to get help from relatives. The boy walking 14 miles over 6 hours before arriving at the family compound. Prior to leaving, he covered his 6 surviving siblings with branches, hiding them in bushes. After becoming concerned that the boy had not returned close to nightfall, the girl began to walk herself in an effort to find help. Search efforts of the survivors began between 6 and 7 p.m., with the surviving children being discovered 8:30 p.m., except for the children who walked for help. The last surviving child, the girl who went for help, was discovered at 9:45 p.m. Where does it say, who lived? And these are I was just looking up pictures of the burnout vehicles, which was, part of the plan. I assume they, after they hijacked this, they had to take out a seat, put in a seat, just have some hand tools, some drills and whatever, get it done. Blow it, shoot it up to pieces and blow it up, set it on fire. But you have to do that. You bring a tire, an extra tire, you bring an extra seat, so that they wouldn't suspect that it was a drug deal gone bad, and they wouldn't have to keep looking for some other who stole the drugs. And, and then they basically, I don't know, they take the drugs out of the seat somewhere, they chuck that or burn it, and for some reason he brings the tire back at a later date, into the storage facility. I assume there's maybe some drugs there. And I'm not done yet, but I'm getting there. So, but the survivors, it was all kids. Victims and survivors. Tina Miller, 8-month-old twin. Rogan Langford, 2. Crystal Miller, 10. So it's an 8-month-old, a 2-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 11-year-old. I read somewhere else they reported hearing Spanish speaking. Well, they've arrested people and let them go. Nobody's been arrested. I know everybody said this was cartels that just slaughters women and children by mistake because they need that. They mean and not that I'm saying, cartels don't necessarily have scruples, but they don't do stuff for no reason, that doesn't have a financial incentive to it. And they didn't mistake these people for, somebody else. No, dude. And so, that's pretty much the extent of it. As I go through this timeline on, the visits to the storage facility in Rexburg, Idaho, where Lori started a contract October 1st, you'll hear all the different dates they go. But just keep in mind that basically at the end of most of their visits, all except one, after November 4th is when the massacre of the women and children of the LeBaron family in northern Mexico took place. November 4th. Okay, so you have all these. Lori signs the contract on the 1st, on October 2nd and 3rd. She's there with Alex Cox between October 6th and 26th. Alex Cox comes 5 different times for various things. October 28th, Alex Cox is there with another man, presumably Chad Daybell, bringing bikes in. And then that's all the visits before this date, November 4th, and then the final visit to the storage facility on November 24th. Now, all the visits that Nate Eaton goes through in that video there about visiting the storage center, there was 9 in October, 1 in November. So, and it's the Nissan Rogue that they drive up in, as well as Charles Cox in his own truck. At one point, she's there with Charles Cox and her. Another point, it's just Charles Cox, I think, on 5 visits between. So on October 1st, she signs the contract. She arrives. On October 2nd and 3rd, she's with Cox. And that's, I think at that point, that's where he comes out with the tote, with this thing, okay, and the tire. And then between October 6th and 26th, Cox is there 5 times carrying various things in and out, gun cases, okay, and then on October 28th, there's 2 men, I believe that's Chad, Alex and Chad, bringing in bikes, and they bring out storage things as well. On November 24th, Lori's there with a man. I don't know if that's Alex or not. And you see the guy carrying out like a large, like storage plastic container that you would see like in Lowe's that can carry a fair amount of material. And that's the last visit. November 24th is the last visit to the storage facility by anybody. And that's it. And it says here in the timeline, November 26, 2019, police go to Lori and Chad's residence at 565 Pioneer Road in Rexburg to conduct a welfare check on JJ at the request of his grandmother, Kay Vallow Woodcock. Lori tells police the children are in Arizona with relatives. Please contact the relatives who say they have not seen the children. Now, I think that's actually the 25th. I think it's actually the 25th, and then they come back the 26th with the search warrant. And by that time, Lori and Chad are gone, and they're out of the state, and they're not in the home. Okay? But what I'm saying to you is the last visit to that storage facility was on November 24th. The day before the Rexburg Police Department does a welfare check for J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan. That's a pretty big coincidence, don't you think? So basically, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell and everybody else, I don't know where Charles is, I don't know where all these other people are, but they managed to get everything out of that storage facility that they needed to one day before they got a call from Kay Vallow to do a welfare check on JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan. Okay? And that's the story there, dude. That is the story there. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below, and I will see you in the next video. Later, man.